that I do, I need to tie things down. Right here in my trunk, I currently have a bundle of tie downs that are normally used for strapping down anything from bikes to cargo to a number of other things. One of the problems that we run into is how do you properly use them? Also, how do you organize it so it's not a big mess of spaghetti tie downs all mixed up together? So we're going to separate these out and demonstrate how to fix and straighten out the tie downs, as well as how to better store them so you don't have the same problem every time you want to use them. So for this time around, we're going to discuss our blue tie downs. Now if you look closely here, we see it's made up of two parts. Let's go ahead and separate them so we get a better idea of what we're looking at. So to separate them, we're going to engage this lever here. By doing so, it releases the latches on the inside. You can see that. That allows us to be able to freely move this portion of the tie down. So we're going to move this in a position to where by engaging this here, we'll engage it by pressing it down, move it all the way into a straight position, and by doing so we should be able to shimmy this piece into a position where it will turn and allow us to pull this rope, there we go, pull this ribbon through the mechanism here so that we can release it from the other portion. There. Now if you look closely, we got this cylinder here and it has a slit in between. So if we engage this, we can move this cylinder normally in both directions. But I'm going to ratchet it a little so that you can get a better view of it. There. So this is where the other tie down goes through. What we accomplished was to separate the two ribbons. Now if you look closely, what do we have? We have one ribbon with a hook, and at the end of it we have nothing. And then we have one ribbon with a latch attached, and at the end of it we have the hook. So what you want is when you latch this portion onto something, you want to hook onto what you're trying to latch, and you want this side to also hook onto what you're trying to latch, and you will feed this portion through. Now here's the part that's important. When you feed this through, you want it to be fed as much as possible so that whatever you're latching down and tying down, it'll be nice and taut. What do I mean by taut? That means it will tighten real sturdy and won't easily release or loosen the load that you're trying to hold down. Allow me to demonstrate. To give you an idea of how this all comes together, we would normally take this component and this side and this side, and what you want to do is when you latch those two pieces together, you want to bring this down and fold it in half, but be able to clearly still see through. So that way, once you latch this side to the other part of what you're attaching to, you'll feed this through and pull it out. You keep pulling all the way until what it is being attached to is nice and tight. So once you pull it nice and tight, at that point you would take this part and ratchet, and it will begin to spool the other component. So one of the things to keep in mind is as you're ratcheting, it's going to bundle up right here. So if you did some ratcheting and got it to come together and you see it start to fill this space, that's how you know, okay, I need to pull my straps tighter, grab the latch, and redo it. So when you're holding this up, that will allow this to spin freely to where you can pull the rest of that material that you ratcheted out to kind of release it. So once you let go of this, you basically pull tighter and you start over again. So you pull it, you engage this latch, fold it down, and then you ratchet it again. And you will repeat that process. As you can see here, I was able to separate most of all the orange straps, and I kind of folded them in half. Some of them had these Velcro straps at the very end of them. That was very useful. So all I had to do was just fold those in half, put the strap around it, and those are neat and tied up. Now they're good and organized for the next time we need them. But I had an older set that didn't have those. So in which case I folded them in half once or twice, and then I kind of like tighten in a loose knot just to kind of keep them separated and bundled together. Same thing with the blue ones. This blue one with the latch on it, you can see is a little bit longer, so I also tied it in the soft knot, I would say. And then these over here, because their straps are pretty short, very low chance of them getting tangled, so I go ahead and just set them off to the side. So this is how I did with most of the straps that I have here. If you look more closely, there's one of them that I'm gonna have a little bit more trouble with. This is a scenario that you want to avoid. So again, when you're using your tie downs and you're strapping down a load, what you don't want is to over ratchet this into a big ball. If it's too tight, what will end up happening is it will lock up and create a nice knot right here. So I'm gonna tinker with this a bit to see if we can get this loosened up, and we'll clean our space and we'll move on to our next set of straps. But let's see what we can do with this in the meantime. Tie downs. You pull here to latch to disengage it. So if you need to feed the strap through and loosen it up a bit, you can. And same concept, pulling it down, strap it, then you start ratcheting. All the same thing. So with this bundle, same process. We're gonna go ahead and detangle it.